Today is Friday, October 2nd. Welcome to this edition of Nevada County Now. Today's episode, we're talking flu shots, fake pills, elections, and more. Join us, won't you? Hello and welcome to Nevada County Now. I'm your host, Cole Pettit. As we transition into fall, along with cooler weather and changing leaves, we also begin flu season. Health experts across the country are encouraging everyone to get a flu shot this year, including our own Dr. Brian Evans, CEO of Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital. Let's take a quick look.
Hello, Sierra Nevada. Brian Evans here. I'm the CEO at Sierra Nevada Memorial Hospital. A couple of updates for you. First, I want to talk about influenza. The flu season is coming. In fact, it's probably already here, and it's time to go ahead and get your influenza vaccine. A lot of people have wondered whether influenza coming in the middle of this COVID pandemic is going to be an issue. Clearly, we don't want a high volume of influenza patients at the same time as COVID patients during this pandemic, and we do worry about that somewhat during this winter.
The less strain we can put on our health system during this already challenging time, the better they will be able to help us when we need it. With this in mind, Nevada County will be hosting a free drive-through for flu shots this coming Tuesday, October the 6th. It will take place in the Twin Cities Church parking lot at 11726 Rough and Ready Highway, Grass Valley. Flu shots are available for adults and children 3 years and older. They ask that you wear clothing that allows easy access to your upper arms. It's a drive-through event only, so no walk-ups. All occupants in your car over 3 years old must wear a face covering, and entry is via the westbound entrance of the parking lot only. For more information, call 530-265-7265. We've seen an increase of 13 COVID-19 cases this week, bringing our total to 544 confirmed cases. 32 cases are currently active with 3 hospitalizations. 20,054 tests have been performed, an increase of 845 tests this week. The death toll remains at 7. For the most up-to-date information available, visit mynevadacounty.com/coronavirus. We experienced a slight reprieve for a few days, but as wildfires continue to burn throughout the state, our air quality is once again less than ideal. The time of recording, our current reading is in the moderate yellow tier. A forecast from the United States National Weather Service in Sacramento indicates a potential for increased smoke throughout the day and into the early hours tomorrow. Try to limit your time outdoors and refrain from strenuous activity when conditions worsen, particularly if you are older or have breathing issues. To view current readings, visit airnow.gov. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office is warning about fake pills. In a social media post, they note that recently the Nevada County Sheriff's Office has received numerous reports of opiate overdoses. So far this year, 20 of these reports have resulted in death. By comparison, 6 deaths occurred by opiate overdose in all of 2019. After numerous thorough coroner's investigations and reviewing toxicology reports, we have learned that several of these overdose deaths have been directly linked to fentanyl. Fentanyl is a powerful synthetic opiate analgesic that is like morphine, but it is 50 to 100 times more potent. In some cases, pure powder fentanyl, the size of a few grains of salt, can be fatal. The Sheriff's Office Special Investigations Unit has been investigating the overdose cases and has learned that many of the fentanyl overdoses have been caused by the user ingesting counterfeit prescription pain pills laced with fentanyl. The pills are made to resemble true and legitimate pain medication. The forged pills are not constructed in a legal, permitted, or licensed laboratory. They are pressed using antiquated methods by either drug cartels or street criminals with generic binding agents and sometimes lethal doses of fentanyl. The Nevada County Sheriff's Office wants to alert the public to the dangers surrounding taking pills that are not prescribed by a physician or obtained by anyone that is not a licensed pharmacist. Do not take prescription pills unless they are prescribed to you and you obtain them from a licensed pharmacist through a valid prescription. This week, we continued our Meet the Candidates series by talking with Elizabeth Betancourt, the Democratic candidate for California State Assembly District 1. Here's a brief look. What are your thoughts on those ongoing protests and how we deal with that?
Protest is a really important, integral, and basic part of being an American, being a resident of this country. Protest started America, right? With the Boston Tea Party. That was a protest. So it's very deep in our bones that protest is a right here in this country. When it comes to looting and violence by anyone, that's not something that is going to solve our problem. What we can see in history is that peaceful protest, nonviolent civil disobedience is what addresses civil rights and the righting of wrongs. Violence is not what addresses that. It's not what results in building bridges or success. That commonality of humanity is what gets people to remember that we're all humans and we're all here together and we're all connected. And again, we all do our best when we all have access to the goods and services that help us to be our best. And so I think that slogans like all lives matter or defund the police or they are words that become divisive. When we can't sit down with each other and talk about what those mean, we will not come out of this, right? We have to create space where we can sit down together and talk about what those mean.
To view the rest of the conversation, visit us on Facebook or YouTube. It should be noted that we reached out to Megan Dahl, the Republican candidate and current incumbent, who did not respond to our request. We'll continue our look at local races this week with an overview of the candidates for Truckee Town Council. For more, let's turn it over to Sonora Slater.
Thanks, Cole. The Truckee Town Council, comprised of 5 board members, seeks to protect and improve Truckee's quality of life. The goals they are currently working towards include making affordable and achievable housing available, improving disaster preparedness and forest stewardship, and increasing usage of renewable energy in order to reduce their carbon footprint. This year, there are 2 full-term seats and 1 short-term seat open, with 7 candidates running for the full-term positions and 2 running for the short-term. Running for the 4-year position is Lindsay Romack, Dow Costa, Frank Bernhard, Jack Forbes, Nicholas Silchin, Marcy Dolan, and Courtney Henderson. Lindsay Romack moved to Truckee 16 years ago. She volunteers with Sierra Community House and Truckee Follies and has worked as a Placer County District Director, as part of the Squaw Valley Municipal Advisory Council, and as the morning show host and operations manager for 101.5 Truckee Tahoe Radio. She wants to focus on housing, sustainability, inclusion and diversity, transportation, and dealing with the impacts of COVID-19. Dow Costa moved to Truckee in 2000 to start Sprint Corporation in Northern California. He has a bachelor's in psychology with a minor in engineering from the University of Illinois and an MBA in finance from Southern Methodist University. He has volunteered with several local organizations, as well as having coached girls basketball at Truckee High School. He believes that he has a balanced perspective and is fiscally responsible, and wants to focus on affordable housing, fire safety and resource management, and managing the impact of tourism on locals. Frank Bernhard is a skier and management consultant, and wants to focus on balancing the conflict between Truckee policy and keeping the Truckee way intact for the future. He wants to ensure that small businesses have a voice in economic policy, plan a rational fiscal policy, and elevate individuals through his social policy. Jack Forbes is a longtime resident of Truckee and wholeheartedly loves the community. He has worked in a variety of jobs in the area and simply wants to focus on improving the quality of life in the area, especially through affordable workforce housing. Nicholas Silchin moved to Truckee several years ago with his wife. He wants to be on the board because of his role in the community as a resident, a husband, and a father, and he wants to focus on supporting small businesses through COVID-19 and the future, as well as keeping Truckee growing, as many residents he knows have recently chosen to move away. Marcy Dolan has been a resident of Truckee for more than 25 years. She has a bachelor's degree in political science from Williams College and has spent her life coaching both soccer and skiing, volunteering for Meals on Wheels, and working as an asthma case manager. She believes that her job as a case manager, listening to and working with patients to develop a sustainable and affordable plan, will help her improve the town's response to the current COVID-19 crisis. She also wants to focus on affordable housing, fiscal responsibility and accountability, and inclusion of community input. Courtney Henderson moved to Truckee almost 10 years ago. She completed her undergraduate in biology at Cornell University, obtained her master's in public health at Brown University, and earned her doctorate in public health at UC Berkeley. She is a member of 100% Renewable Truckee, as well as being part of a technical advisory group for the Sierra Business Council. She wants to focus on improving public health and safety, supporting local businesses in their economic recovery, housing accessibility, environmental stewardship, and smart development. Running for the 2-year position is Carla Imbertson and Jan Zabriskie. Carla Imbertson has lived in Truckee for 23 years. She is the president of the Glenshire-Devonshire Residents Association and volunteers with the Truckee High School Boosters, Seroptimus International of Truckee Donner, and more. She wants to focus on fiscal responsibility, affordable housing, and developing a pragmatic approach to climate change issues. Jan Zabriskie moved to Truckee in 2011. He has a master's in biology from the University of California at Riverside and attended McGeorge School of Law. He has worked as the Deputy Attorney General for the California Department of Justice and as a legal advisor, and he has been a part of the Town of Truckee Planning Commission and the Town of Truckee Revenue Measure for Housing Advisory Committee. He wants to focus on wildfire protection and disaster preparedness, a healthier environment, and affordable workforce housing. Back to you, Cole.
Thanks, Sonora. Bear Yuba Land Trust's annual Open Spaces and Wild Places fundraising event kicked off yesterday, October 1st. This year, due to social distancing guidelines and in order to safeguard public health, this free event will take place over 2 weeks, starting off with an online silent auction and fund a need for the Independence Trail, and will culminate with their live conservation awards presentation and virtual gala on Friday, October 16th. The live event will include awards presentations, live music, and so much more. All net proceeds will support Bear Yuba Land Trust's mission to protect and defend the working and natural lands of the Bear and Yuba River watersheds and empower healthy, resilient communities through nature access and education. There is also an opportunity to directly support a priority project each year through Fund a Need contributions. This year's Fund a Need pledges will support the Independence Trail rebuild. To participate in the auction, donate to the rebuild, or RSVP to the virtual gala, visit www.bylt.org and click on Events. Normally at this time of year, here at Nevada County Media, we would be hosting our own annual fundraiser, Through the Lens. This is an event which brings together local filmmakers for a friendly competition. Each filmmaker produces a 10-minute short film, which is then judged by an independent panel. A debut for all films is then held at the Del Oro, followed by an award ceremony and an after-party. This year, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been forced to cancel the event. While we're disappointed to miss out on the fun, we know that it will return again next year in full force. For now, let's enjoy some highlights from last year's entries. And remember, stay safe, take care of each other. We'll see you next week.